Can you imagine starting your day with your team chasing signings, a former player begging to come back, and by the end, finding out that a major football name might be on the verge of signing with Wrexham? Well, stick with me until the end, because the final story today is by far the most important, and it could completely change the club's future in the coming months. But before we get there, we have two hot updates to cover, one involving direct comments from Phil Parkinson, and the other, a possible reunion that started with a cry for help back in 2022. Let's break it down. Story 1. Phil Parkinson breaks his silence and reveals, Wrexham are hunting for signings everywhere. There's a lot going on behind the scenes at Wrexham, and with good reason. We're just weeks away from the Championship opener against Southampton, and manager Phil Parkinson knows he needs a squad ready for battle. After all, the Championship is one of the toughest and most competitive leagues in the world. Preparation has to be sharp. Parkinson, who usually stays quiet during the early days of the transfer window, has now confirmed that Wrexham are actively pursuing players from all kinds of backgrounds and markets, including internationally. In an interview with ESPN journalist Joey Lynch, Parkinson didn't hold back when asked about transfers. We're looking everywhere. We're not ruling anyone in or out. It's a very competitive market when you're trying to get championship-level players. Translation: Wrexham are scanning every corner, England, Europe, Australia. If there's talent out there, they're watching. So far, only one signing has been made official. Striker Ryan Hardie, who's already joined and is expected to compete for a spot up front. But the most exciting move so far: the potential return of goalkeeper Danny Ward. He's already completed a medical and looks set to be confirmed soon. And this isn't just another signing, it's a homecoming. Ward came through Wrexham's academy, went on to bigger clubs, and now could return as a key piece for the season ahead. But Parkinson's not stopping there. Another name that's popped up behind the scenes is Ryan Teague, a young Australian midfielder currently playing for Melbourne Victory. The interesting twist: Wrexham will face his team in a pre-season friendly, giving them a perfect chance to watch him closely. Still, Parkinson made it clear, Teague isn't a top priority right now. The club is focused on signing players who already know the pace and grind of the Championship, guys who can step in and deliver from day one. And that brings us to a name gathering serious momentum: Lewis Travis, a defensive midfielder from Blackburn Rovers. Like Teague, he plays in the holding role, but with one big difference: Travis has nearly 250 appearances in the Championship. That's experience you can't teach. That's exactly the type of player Parkinson wants: seasoned pros, battle-tested, who know what it's like to get through a 46-game grind, tough pitches, and full-on pressure every single week. So here's the message: Wrexham aren't signing just to fill spots. They're targeting the right players, building a balanced and competitive squad. And with July being the busiest transfer month for the club, there's a lot more news just around the corner. Story 2. Danny Ward is coming back, after sending a message straight to Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney. This is one of those stories that feels like it came straight out of a movie, and honestly, it kind of did, considering it involves the most cinematic owners in world football. Let's rewind a bit. Danny Ward, a Welsh goalkeeper born in Wrexham, came up through the club's youth academy. He joined the team as a kid, trained on the pitches of North Wales, but ironically, never actually played an official match for his hometown club. Before he had the chance to make his professional debut, his talent caught the eye of Liverpool, and that's where his career really took off. He later went on to play for clubs like Huddersfield Town and Leicester City, where he had some good moments, and, let's be honest, some tough ones too, especially last season. But through it all, he never let go of his dream, coming back to Wrexham. And in 2022, during an interview on the popular fan podcast Fearless in Devotion, Ward made that dream very public. When asked about a possible return, he didn't hesitate. Get Ryan and Rob on the phone. It was the kind of answer that went viral, not just because it was funny, but because it felt genuine. Fans didn't just hear a joke, they heard a heartfelt plea from someone who really wanted to come back and wear that shirt again. And guess what? It looks like the message got through. 2 years later, Ward is on the verge of coming home. He's already completed a medical and is very close to signing with Wrexham. The expectation is that he'll be announced soon as part of the squad for the 2025-26 Championship season. Let's be real, though, he's not coming in as the first-choice goalkeeper. Arthur Okonkwo, who was outstanding last season, is expected to remain the club's number one. And Ward knows that. He's not showing up to steal anyone's spot, he's coming to compete, to contribute, and to finally fulfill a dream he's carried for over a decade. And after a disappointing season at Leicester, where he struggled in a few appearances and saw his minutes disappear, Ward is hungry to prove himself. He wants to win over the fans, earn their trust, and show that he still has what it takes. Here's the wild part. Despite spending years at Wrexham, he never actually played a senior game. Always the young prospect, always on the bench. But now, with more experience and a lot more miles under his belt, he's back, ready to finally step onto the pitch wearing the badge. This return is packed with emotion, symbolism, and challenge. He's joining a very different Wrexham, one with professional leadership, global exposure, and Premier League ambitions. And that leads to the big question every Wrexham fan is asking right now. Is this finally it? Will Danny Ward, after all these years and all those messages, finally make his debut for his hometown club? Can he bounce back and silence the doubters? One thing's for sure, the fans want this story to have a happy ending. And with the season just around the corner, we'll soon get the answer, on the pitch. Story 3. Wrexham make major move for Lewis O'Brien and take a huge lead in the race. This is the moment every Wrexham fan has been waiting for. We told you this was today's headline story, and now you're about to see why. Lewis O'Brien, one of the most consistent midfielders in the Championship in recent years, is getting closer and closer to joining the Red Dragons. And this isn't just any signing. We're talking about a player with Premier League experience, proven quality in the second division, and a strong loan spell last season with Swansea City. So what's the big update? Wrexham are now the clear frontrunners to sign O'Brien. Why? Because their main competitor, Hull City, have decided to back off. According to the Hull Daily Mail, the Tigers believe the asking price is too high and will now look for other options elsewhere in Europe. That leaves the path wide open. But here's where things get tricky, and where this move could completely reshape Wrexham's financial and sporting future. O'Brien is still under contract with Nottingham Forest, a Premier League club that isn't looking to make it easy. The reported price tag? £8 million. Yes, you heard that right. Wrexham, a club that not long ago was outside the Football League, now has to consider spending nearly £8 million on a single player. Is it bold? Absolutely. Is it risky? No doubt. But it could also be a game-changer for the entire project led by Ryan Reynolds and McElhenney. So who exactly is Lewis O'Brien? He's a modern, left-footed defensive midfielder with energy, intelligence, and work rate. He can play deep, push higher up the pitch, and fits the Championship style to perfection. At 26 years old, he's right in his prime, physically and technically. And make no mistake, this is not a gamble. O'Brien has delivered at every stop. He was a key player for Huddersfield's Premier League push, performed at Forest, and impressed again at Swansea. If he signs, he'll walk into the starting 11 and instantly become the engine of Phil Parkinson's team. But now comes the big question Wrexham's board, and fans, need to ask. Is he worth that kind of money? With £8 million, Wrexham could sign 2 or 3 proven Championship players from the free agent market, adding depth across the squad. But none of them would bring the immediate impact and leadership qualities that O'Brien offers. And this leads to a bigger question. What does Wrexham want? Do they just want to stay in the Championship? Or are they planning to fight for something bigger in the years ahead? If the answer is the second one, then maybe this is exactly the kind of bold move they need to make, even if it comes with some risk. There's another important factor. The player wants out. O'Brien knows his time at Forest is up, and he sees Wrexham as a serious, stable project with global attention, something rare in the Championship. So yes, the timing is right. But this is one of those huge decisions, the kind that can push the club one step closer to the Premier League, or freeze their budget for months. Now we want to hear from you, Wrexham fans. Do you think the club should spend big on Lewis O'Brien? Or would it be smarter to explore more affordable options? Let us know in the comments. This debate is just getting started, and you're a part of it. If you enjoyed this video with today's top 3 stories, give it a like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss tomorrow's updates, squad news, transfers, pre-season matches, and maybe even an official announcement coming soon. See you in the next video. And now it's your turn. Should Wrexham break the bank for Lewis O'Brien or wait for a better deal? Drop your take in the comments. This is a big one, and we want your voice in the discussion. If you like the updates, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications, because tomorrow we're back with more news on transfers, the squad, and everything happening behind the scenes at Wrexham. See you next time.